Did you know that we're more than just a podcast? We actually have a LinkedIn group, we have a YouTube channel with a bunch of YouTube shorts. We're also on TikTok. I think Jocelyn requested that. And then for some reason, Wendy wants us on MySpace, but I don't know if we're there yet. However, check us out on those other channels. And if you're wondering why we haven't covered a particular topic yet, well, ask us. Go to aka.ms/ low code topic request. That's one word, aka.ms/ low code topic request. Thanks, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of the Low Code Approach. I'm Sean Feeney, a Senior Product Marketing Manager on the Power Platform team. Now here's usually where I'd pass the mic over to our good friend Wendy or over to Ken, but well, Wendy's not here. She's off on another adventure, and poor Ken, I think, is on a plane coming back from EPPC, or the European Power Platform Conference, so he's unable to get in contact with us in the moment. However, that doesn't mean that I'm the only host today, because I'm also joined by
General Jocelyn Chow, Senior Product Manager of Power Platform and Copilot Security. And I'm sorry, Ken, because a lot of you guys may have been expecting me at EPPC, but I had to hold down the fort over here at the LCA with Sean. Am I right?
This is very true. And like everybody knows, we don't like to just shoot out acronyms, but what does LCA mean, Jocelyn?
The low code approach, or whatever we decided to change it to last week.
That's fair. Fair enough. Hey, but guess what? It's not just Jocelyn and I talking to each other this entire episode, because we've got an extremely important topic, and we had to bring in, well, the brains behind the operation on this one. So we've got Rafsan Huseynov, corporate IT. He works in corporate IT for one of the largest manufacturing organizations in the world. And he's got experience in the field. He knows what it takes for change management. He knows what it takes to get things going for implementing new technologies. Rafsan, welcome to the show, and how you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Sean and Jocelyn.
Awesome. So I kind of alluded to it a little bit before of what we want to talk about. The big theme of today's episode is really change management and organizations adopting new technologies. And the hottest technology out is agents and generative AI. And so let's pick your brain. Let's get a better understanding. What are you seeing out in organizations adopting this? What are the change management patterns and practices that you're seeing occur? And how are you finding organizations find success? And then also another topic we talked a little bit before we recorded, what are the misses? Like, what are organizations not doing that's preventing them from finding success? So let's start off with a high level, Rafsan.
Sean, are you going to leave any questions for me?
No. I mean, these are just topics. These are themes. But Rafsan, let's start off with the first one.
These are like 7 questions at once.
What are you seeing out in the field at a high level? And then we'll jump into the nitty gritty.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, like any other digital transformation, you need a proper change management. Like, I've seen some organization trying to implement like big bang approach, like, hey, we have everything, let's roll out everything. That's not going to work, because that requires a lot of effort, and the plan that you put together today might not work 5 months later, right? So that's why the phased approach is the best approach. Like in my case, I work one of the largest manufacturing organization, and we have different business units. For like, one is manufacturing, one is solar, one oil and gas. So the first approach was identifying tech-savvy people from each of these business units and starting the POC and helping them, okay, what challenge do you have and how you can utilize Copilot Studio and agents to solve that. And we ran this like almost 3 months, and we saw that, okay, it's working. And then we started scaling it to more. Like, we initially invited 5 people from each business units, but this time we invited 15, 20 people, more people. And then once we passed that stage, we actually started not just POC, but also focusing on production, because that's where you see the real business impact. Otherwise, it's just sitting somewhere. You have like some groups that they test, validate, hey, I did this, it works, but how it generates the business value. So The biggest change management approach here is really what's the pain points we have and how we can use AI. And we have a lot of capabilities. We have all the data already. So how we can use, let's say, M365 Copilot for simple use cases, and where we can use Copilot Studio for more enterprise-grade solutions. And let's start simple. Like, as a corporate IT, every month we roll out massive software updates. And each software update's coming with a lot of self-user guides, learning resources, right? We expect end users learn this before using them new features. But let's be honest, who's going to read the 100-page user guide? No one. Because no one wants to be master on the user guides, right? So we started with simple frequently asked questions, and that saved a lot of time for us, because this time our development team can focus on development rather than answering each user question. And each user question can take between 10 to 15 minutes. Now you see where I'm getting at. Now we have the time savings. And then each time savings weekly, that means that we are saving the cost, because dev team is extremely expensive. So how you utilize them, that impacts your return on investment. So if they spend more time on operations, basically you are missing the big picture here. And then we started actually using autonomous version here, because not only we wanted agents come to the agents, let's say in SharePoint, in Teams, but sometimes that's not the case, right? They just reach out to our teams using different channels. So we build this time, we added a new capability using autonomous features in Copilot Studio. This time, when they reach out to our operations team, the operations team basically, if it is related to ServiceNow, it would actually create a ServiceNow ticket in ServiceNow. If it is related to general asked questions, it would look at our knowledge source, craft an answer, and respond back to the user. Initially, we actually put a human in the loop to check the answers, validate that the answer is correct. I mean, that was a little time consuming because we received a lot of questions. That was good because people was reaching out. But then we saw, okay, the answers are correct. And we just needed to do a little bit fine tuning, and then everything was great. And then all we needed later to use Copilot Analytics and later use Azure App Insights to get more insights, what people ask, where they actually stop, and why they stop. This is very important. If they stop, that means that there is something wrong. So we need to fix it, right? And then we identify the users and understand the user's journey map, and then make it better. So I think there is a tremendous value, but everything related to change management, helping users understand the capabilities, also use the agent, not just treat that as this is another shiny tool.
That was a lot of really awesome storytelling for the overall process. And I think a lot of people that are listening to this and other organizations can definitely end up resonating. Before we get into why users stop, I'd love to understand, in that process that you just described, what are some of the blockers that you've seen, whether it's from a people perspective, whether it's from a management perspective? How does it become difficult, or where are the sticky points in really going from POC through that experimentation process?
Absolutely. So I'll be honest with you. Yes, there is human element, people element here, but the most of the time, leadership defines the priority, right? So as a leader, as a chief IT officer, it's your job, you're responsible to define this in a way that, hey, this is not just a POC. In 5 months from now, 7 months from now, we are going to productionize this. And that sets the tone, and that also enables like Center of Excellence team to get access to funding, to get the necessary training, necessary licensing. Like, for example, I really love pay-as-you-go model rather than message capacity, right? Because you don't want your users in the middle of the process, hey, I can answer that because I don't have enough message capacity, right? So the main thing here we need to understand as a leader, we need to support this in a way that it stick with the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So my follow-up would be, if you had to give a message to the COE, to the Center of Excellence team that are pushing for this, and perhaps they have some skeptical C-suite individuals that aren't really pushing for it as hard as they are, what would be your advice on helping them really like sway the balance there and actually convince those C-suite folks that this is what we should be investing in if they're not thoroughly sold?
So the reason that I started off like why we need to productionize this early, because you get more user feedback. Hey, we love this. We need more of this, right? That pushes the senior leadership that people get business from this, right? So that's how we can start. But trust your IT teams, like Power Platform Center of Excellence teams. They are already mature enough. I mean, we are not creating something new with AI. All the Microsoft Power Platform governance security, it's already there. They are already mature. We've been using this for years, right? So trust that, but also COE teams need to take an action. Make the use case request easier. Go to Power Apps, maybe create simple onboarding tool where people can submit their use cases and make everything clear. Don't be extremely IT oriented, but be a business relevant. So that's the thing I always mention. We see now the central IT size shrinking. The business IT, on the other hand, we are seeing more and more people. Now you have developers in marketing. They don't report to IT, they report to marketing. You have sales developers. Their job developing solutions for sales. The reason, because the central IT doesn't understand salespeople's use cases, right? So that's why have like organizational level AI strategy, but also enable different business units to be a center of excellence team where they can align with the central IT and then make end users onboarding request process easier and smoother. And you will see more and more people coming, like citizen developers or makers. Hey, I saw other team build this. I want to replicate the same thing. Where can I start? And one of the challenges I see a lot, people don't know where to start, and IT teams don't guide them enough where they can start, where they can progress.
That is, so you touched on a few things. One, you hit exactly to my background because that's what it was. I was building out solutions for specific business orgs, right? Embedded within that business org. And I think that's a beautiful point to that. You've got individuals that are not only solution developers, but also closer or have a good understanding of the business process that needs to be implemented while not having to like extend that development loop from IT, centralized IT, all the way back to the org. One question I do want to ask about this is like, getting a POC quickly built and moving into production fast and like utilizing the excitement from those business users or those business analysts that are building out these solutions. What if an organization has such excited users that they want to innovate quickly? Is that a recipe for disaster by inviting shadow IT, right? Like you've got other tools out there you can implement, right? But you mentioned it before, like Power Platform's got the governance tools. Like we've got the Center of Excellence. We can do this. But if you have overeager individuals that want to build solutions, how does IT not be concerned or mitigate the risk of any issues with building out these rogue apps, if you will, right? By utilizing something like Microsoft Copilot Studio and leveraging Power Platform's governance?
That's an excellent question, Shah. If you don't enable your people to build their own solutions, you are actually causing shadow IT, because they're going to find a way to build solutions that you are not aware, it's not vetted. So that's why when the people come, the first thing you can do, especially for agents, because this is not just on IT, you need to bring security, you need to bring legal teams, right? Start with, okay, you have an idea? Perfect. Let's start from step one. Step one is providing you with the legal training, then security training. Then like agents, it's also like Power Apps. Like you need to build actually a solution, not the agent itself, right? You need to build agents inside the solution. Let's provide you very important mandatory trainings and have some kind of checks to make sure that you are using the data sources that you are supposed to. And before deploying your solution to each environment, let's have a quick review process. We don't need to have one-on-one call, but submit a change request that, hey, I'm requesting this deployment. And this is what about, so that we can check the knowledge source. We can check the data sources that we are connected and potentially check the instructions to make sure that, there is no conflict. So you see how you make their life easier. And every time these people build agent, they are actually gaining more experience. They are understanding why security is important, why governance is important. Because if you just let the governance for admins, their life going to be harder. Because I don't think governance needed for all the agents, specifically like the agents built in default environments, right? Because admins, we don't have more admins. We have only a few admins doing like entire governance. So you need to have here like safe zones where people can build, test their ideas. We need to have green zone, yellow zone where you need to bring someone from your IT team to make sure that, this is, safe. But like I work with an enterprise architecture team. If something that you are building is highly complex, high risk, and audience is enterprise, you can't do that. You just give us the idea. We will take care of the process. This is the red and black zone. So I think like this is similar to application development. We need to help these people understand the software development life cycle and also understand why governance is important. It's not blocker. It's not blocker at all. It's just making sure that the solutions that you build, they are safe, secure, and scalable.
I don't think I'm revoking my previous statement where I'm like, if I am a center of excellence and I need to convince my C-suite that we need to do this, I'm going to say this. I think they're just going to take this episode and walk into their office and click play at this point. Because you know a lot. You might know too much. It's quite astonishing to Sean and I. But if we're gonna keep going with I just need Rafsan to go ahead and do the convincing for me, I'm gonna go off script. And I want to ask you to tell me a story about a time when we actually successfully migrated people to the correct zones, right? We successfully instilled the guardrails that we need, but we also gave them the freedom that they needed to build something. Tell me a story about a really awesome success that you have seen.
Absolutely. So when it comes to data, we all know that not all the data resides in Microsoft ecosystem. Like, let's say most of organizations, they have a central IT data lake. All the data from different sources, like ServiceNow, like Apptio, coming to that IT data lake, and different teams pulls that data. So when we deploy these solutions, and most of the time, central IT, the solutions that they build, it's not free for organization. It's called yellow dollars. It's not like necessarily green dollar, but that means they charge it, right? For different like I'm talking about massive organizations. So we deployed multiple solutions to SharePoint that people can use these agents. So one person reached out to me saying that, how can I do that? I wanted this, but it's too expensive for us to, request this. But I know your Copilot. I can do that. And the first thing I asked, let me just kind of see your process. What's your pain point? Because I'm a solution architect, right? But before giving any solution, I need to understand the customer problem. And maybe they don't need agents. Maybe they just need Power Automate, right? It's a traditional solution. They don't need an agent. But in this case, they can't just build by itself. They can build the UI part with just agent, but bringing data from Snowflake, that requires either Azure AI Search because you want this reliable, or we actually found better solution. which is using Snowflake Cortex agents and connecting to Copilot Studio. Because when you do that, because Cortex agents, they respect the security layer. In this case, I worry about two things: the response, the accuracy rate, because if the users get the hallucinated responses, they drop off. They don't like the solution you built. And the second one is secure. How can I make sure that they get access to specific views that, sometimes you have costing information that's not supposed to be visible to anyone beside the owner of the, that specific record or column. So, I explained, okay, maybe you can do that, but these are the, consequences if you do this by yourself. I mean, I have authority. I can say that, no, you can't do that, but you need to understand the human element here. I guide us through. We can help you here. You can build the end solution, which is Copilot Studio. You can create a topic there. You can create the Power Platform, Power Automate connector. It's there. It's a built-in already connected. But the Snowflake part, we need to take care of that. You can't do that. Just because your data is there, we can't do that. So what we did, I invited Snowflake Data Architect. They took care of the entire Cortex part, and I helped this person to build the Copilot Studio agent, add that custom topic, and then pull that information using Cortex agents. So, understanding these and helping people that they can leverage your expertise, it makes a lot of difference, right? So I think they are happy now. What they did later, I didn't even tell her, but she came up with another use case saying that this agent works, people are happy, but I don't want to publish to teams. I'm like, yeah, you can do that. And sometimes we don't say anything because I really want to see how these people creative, and this led these people to learn more. And when they go to Microsoft Learn, they're like, oh, there is Teams channel here. I can do that. Why I need to, make my users to open another solution where instead they can use Teams. So these are the some use cases that I helped, not necessarily build myself, but I helped other people as a citizen developer to do this. And you are a citizen developer today. In 2-3 years, you will be business technologist, which Gartner defines someone that is IT but works for business rather than IT. Or you can be professional developers, like most of the Power Apps developers. They don't come from the pro developers, but they come from different career paths, right?
Agreed. I think I've seen that over my career, individuals go from business process owners to full blown developers, and it's incredible when they have that aha moment as they're building out their solutions and understanding development best practices and whatnot, and putting it in place. And yeah, it's an incredible moment. I want to touch on a few things. Well, really one thing, but it's kind of something you said at the top of the episode and just now, where an individual comes to you with an idea, and maybe they're 80% of the way there with technical knowledge, knowing kind of what are the extensibility options for the solution they're trying to build. And then also identifying those technical individuals for building these solutions amongst many orgs in the company. Do you have any advice when you're trying to set up your champions across an organization of what's that fine line of technical capabilities or skilling to identify who would make or who would be the best candidates to make these solutions?
No, absolutely. So one thing I'm a huge fan of cross-functional teams. In this case, Snowflake, I'm not Snowflake expert. What I do, I reach out to Snowflake architect, right? So this is the thing you would provide list of key people from organization. Hey, you are building agent that needs to connect the Snowflake ServiceNow Knowledge API. This is the people that you will be working, and also train those technical people saying that have some bandwidth to help these people, because at the end, they are making your life easier. So you would have like hundreds of requests. Now it's less because there is an agent for that department that pulling your knowledge source using that agent. So, and also, I don't really like documentation process for users that this is how you're going to use it. No, tell them. Have different calls with them. Like have one general call, like explaining the Copilot Studio capabilities and different connectors that you can use, and then make user-specific, department-specific trainings. Like for manufacturing, okay, this is the agent and this is how you're going to use ServiceNow. This is how you're going to use Snowflake. Because that's the time people are like, oh, this is similar. I have this use case. But if you make everything generalized, people like you, it's a huge gap there. You force them a lot to think about like architecture, which people are not really good at unless they've been doing this for years. So that's why tailoring your approach to specific departments, users, that increases the speed of innovation. This time they're like, oh God, I have that exact same use cases. And you speak their language because you don't speak like IT, you speak like specific, department, finance, HR, and everything they hear, it's very familiar, except some technology, but you explain those parts that why we need to use this, or for example, why we need to use Azure AI search, or why we need to use built-in search capabilities or grounding capabilities in Copilot Studio. So you need to explain and you will see the adoption getting higher.
Agreed. I on a personal note, over at Microsoft, I was invited to train another marketing team on another end of Microsoft. And we did this basically by, like you said, go over the capabilities, talk about tooling, what's available, how you should approach this, and think about building solutions on this platform, and then give relevant use cases to them, and also talk about the solution in which how they can translate their needs to the solution's like outcomes. And then at the end of it, we had them break into tables and then pitch us their agents and their solutions and kind of the problem solved and like bonus points if it worked, which I think 90% of them worked. The other one was just one that we were still going through like the requirements phase of it when it ended. But oh my goodness, this was, I don't know, an hour end to end of training and like coming out with fully blown solutions that just rocked towards the end. Like you can get to success really quick and translate success to these organizational units when you can speak their language. Rafsan, you are 100% correct.
And one more thing I want to add, because I do a lot of IT tech debt. Some people, they are resistant to change. And here, I mean, AI is not future. I mean, AI is happening right now. It's not future. I mean, literally, I use AI for everything now, and trying to how can I make AI work in this specific use case? So, what's IT tech debt? I hope organizations doing this. Your technology is aging every single day. Your technology is outdated. Your technology is functional. It doesn't work. People hate your technology, right? But how you can reach out to people saying that this technology doesn't work, let's give you some tool to test this out. Explaining them what's in it for you. And you will see the huge adoption here as well. Like this is the current state you have, that your solution is extremely expensive. It's end of life. There is no support. Like you've seen a lot of like tech companies, like they build solutions after 10, 15 years saying that we are deprecating that. But that solution has a lot of dependency. So you can't just let that go. But this is IT teams that they need to identify those solutions, reach out to those specific users and saying that we have new tool that you can use. It's way cheaper, requires less maintenance, and it will make your life easier. So I believe like nowadays, every like major organization, they should have IT tech debt. They can use certain frameworks like Gartner has time model, which application solutions that you can tolerate. You can invest more, you can migrate, or you can completely eliminate. and start small, like select like 30, 40 applications at end of life and see how you can use AI like Copilot. When I say AI, it's mostly like Gen AI, Copilot Studio, like build different agents like in-house that can replace, right?
As someone who listens secondhandedly to a lot of finance podcasts, what I took from your last statement there, Rafsan, was that your technology is like money as inflation is going on. If you're not actively making money, you are losing money. And if you are not actively striving to improve your technology, you are getting more and more behind.
And that's one of the reasons that we see sometimes shadow IT. You bring the solution, people don't like it. Like cumbersome ERP solutions. People don't like it. It's old. It's like imagine you as an end user, you need to get master at using ERP. That's for end user. It's miserable because your solution is one of the solutions that they use. They use hundreds of applications. Now you are telling me that they need to master at all these 100 applications. That's nonsense. So I'm saying that's where I see the AI's intelligence capabilities will drive better user-friendly applications. And also everyone talking about technical capability, but for end user, it's the functional fit, it's the business fit, technical fit for more like IT, but we need to now add users in the center of the solutions that we are bringing or developing. So
I love all of this. Like Robson, typically what we'll do is we'll like give timestamps to our producer to be like, clip this, make this a short. There are no shorts. The entire episode is what everybody should be watching. Like this is absolutely fantastic. But we are being told we do have to wrap, right? And so one of the things I want to ask is like, yeah, you've given us a ton to think about, so many great points, so many things that organizations can implement and approach for finding success in change management. But what's the one leave behind that you want everyone to understand as we wrap up this episode?
I would say invest your tech-savvy people to become, solution designer and a developer, because they are your real assets. If you're looking at the market right now, if you are trying to bring expert, so sure you will need to bring some expert, but you can't bring all because they're expensive. A second, you need domain experts, which you have already. It's in your company, it's in your finance department, it's in your HR, right? So just invest these people. Make their okay, you are a business analyst working in HR. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna give 30-40% every week that you can learn this technology. Now that you have all this domain expertise, so see how you can work with IT to deliver these solutions. And trust me, at the end, you will save a lot of money and you will make people's life easier. You will see better business processes. Like, I don't want to talk about business processes because some business processes so invest your people, specifically in AI. And like one thing I really like Microsoft Power Up program. It's completely free. Now you can have your organization to sign up and have certain number of people to take that course. And I saw like recently they added Copilot Studio training as well. So to compete in this fierce market, you need these people, not only IT people, but your people that both understands the business and have tech-savvy knowledge that they can make solutions that can impact your bottom line.
That is, once again, another part that we're just going to have to clip and put in there because it's so good. Rafsan, thank you so much for your time. It's such a pleasure chatting with you. We hope to have you on in the future again because you are a wealth of knowledge, and the real world experience and on the street experience you can provide for us is just fantastic. Thank you so much, Rafsan.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I mean, I've met with Jocelyn a lot of times. Jocelyn, I know like thousands of people come to say to you hi because you are a really great person. We appreciate your knowledge. I saw you in the MVP Summit. I'm Microsoft MVP, by the way. So I'll probably see you in Power Platform conference.
We will be there. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks, everyone.